In this video, I want to show you my dog's favorite enrichment toys and how I prepare them. I do want to say right at the start, this video isn't sponsored in any way. I actually purchased these items with my own money. There are lots of items that I've wasted my money on because my dog didn't like. So I want to show you the ones that we keep going back to. If you end up wanting to check any of them out, all of them are linked in the caption under my favorite dog items list. These two I fill with wet dog food, so they're extra treats. And then these three I fill with her regular kibble, so she gets enrichment without a whole bunch of extra calories. There's also a sixth item that I really love, and I'm going to talk about later. Let's talk about why you should even bother with enrichment. Part of raising a happy and healthy dog is allowing them to engage in their natural behaviors, such as chasing, playing, sniffing, chewing, or scavenging. Offering opportunities to do these behaviors helps your dog be physically, emotionally, and mentally satisfied. So first I'm going to show you how I prepare the ones that I use wet dog food for, so the Kong and the popsicle. Some people do make their own homemade recipes. I wish I was one of those people, but I simply just don't have time. So personally, I use the can of wet dog food. With this one can, I make 3 Kongs and 4 popsicles. So for my dog, because she gets 1 a day, that ends up being an entire week of enrichment with 1 can of food. So it's really easy. Okay. Baby spoon.
Wake up, get up, stretch my legs, eat some breakfast, milk and eggs, brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day, wake up.
I don't know if it's going to show up on the camera noises. I personally find this smells disgusting, but Nira is at my feet and she is huffing and snorting, snorting and wants this so bad. Make sure that you really pack it in, because if it's completely squished in and then you freeze it, I find that the Kongs last a lot longer. If there's a lot of air pockets, my dog finishes it a lot faster. Okay. So personally, I just put them in an old takeout container. There is actually special Kong freezer trays that you can buy, and they're pretty awesome, but I use the free one that I have. So if you're only making Kongs, fun fact, 1 can of wet dog food equals 4 perfectly stuffed Kongs. But what I do instead is, because there's not enough to actually fill the popsicles, I add water to this, typically about halfway, and then I'll make 4 popsicles out of that. What a popsicle is they're just these freezer trays. So you fill them, you freeze them, and then afterwards, each one goes in this, and this is machine washable. Popsicles are a lot easier to make, I find, and a lot easier to clean. I personally find that they only last about half the amount of time as a Kong. So my dog still prefers Kongs, but I like both because it is easier for me to make. And by doing it this way with 1 can of food, I get an entire week's worth of treats. So it is absolutely disgusting, but once you add water, just stir it up. I don't know if you actually want to see what this looks like. Again, my dog is drooling at my feet and I'm fighting the desire to gag.
Yesterday, there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane, and as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise.
I know that some people meticulously place treats in the snuffle mat, but I tend to just dump Nira's kibble in the mat and then quickly spread it around so that the pieces are hidden. Snuffle mats are great for allowing your dog to do their natural tendencies of sniffing and foraging, which can then help them relax and provides mental stimulation. I recommend this one from Amazon to almost everyone because the fabric is densely packed and is machine washable. Again, my favorite items are linked in the video description.
Tell you that I love you 100 times a day. You
So this is how it looks once it's been used. This is machine washable, so you can clean it in between uses. I'm going to show you how I fill it. It does take me about 5 minutes to fill, so this one's a little bit more labor intensive than the other ones, but my dog loves it. So I just have my dog's dinner. I just take a piece of kibble, put it in here, and then roll it up. And then squish it in, just like that. You're drooling. So I've talked about this before, but my dog tends to not really chew her food. She eats very, very, very fast. So if I am just giving her her dinner out of a bowl, I do make sure that it's a slow feeder bowl. But I actually prefer things like this because it takes her even longer and she gets a little bit of enjoyment out of it. So it looks like this when it's done. I think it's pretty cool looking. And what she does is she's going to pull out all these fabrics, so she has to dissect to get her dinner. She absolutely adores it, and I think it took me about 5 minutes to fill.
Okay.
I tell your friends, I tell your family, I'm gonna let everyone know about my love. So I really hope you love me too. Yeah, I really hope you love me too.
Based on how excited she seems about each one, I would say that Nira's two favorites are the Kong and this. So there is one other toy that I really like, but I don't have to show you today because the client is using it. But I made an entire video with Millie where I show how I taught her to use it. With just 90 minutes of training, I had her running stairs all by herself. All of the items from this video are linked in the description under my favorite dog items list. If you want to watch Millie learn to exercise independently, watch this video next.